Well, basic points everybody knows, but I think as per the preparation strategy, I think I would like to give a few add-ons which everybody must keep in mind before approaching this exam. The other details I guess you would find easily on the internet, but the basic and the minute details which you should know. The first of them being that you have to do smart study. By that I don't mean that you have to be extremely wise or something, but you have to be very selective in your study. You have to in-depth analysis of the previous question papers, the areas among which questions are asked, and those which you are not supposed to prepare at all. So that you need to take a lot of care about. Also, you have to look after the sections, for example, polity, history, economy, geography, which have a lot of weightage in the exam. The most important thing that I believe I have put in a lot of effort into is I have used limited resources for my examination. That is, per subject I have used max 1 to 2 books. That is, you have to use limited resources and have to revise again and again so that during the exam all your basics are clear. Second thing, also talking about basics, I think that we should start more with the NCERTs rather than going to the reference books directly. Because if your basics are clear, then only you would be able to understand the higher concepts which are given in the reference books. So my personal suggestion would be that you should start for NCERTs as beginners and then go on to the reference books later. Second thing, I think that people ignore the internet and just completely rely on the reference books or the static books that are given. But I think more and more current stuff and more stuff, whether it be economy or polity, current related questions are asked more. So I think internet is the source which plays a very important part in preparation of this exam. So you should rely more and more on the internet. The useful sources, the various sites, the various current sites, and the various important news items or daily news that are coming. Also with regard to all the subjects and current in general. Second thing, I think that you need for paper 2, which involves a lot of time management and writing, for which you have to actually solve previous year's papers according to the time. You need to use the time limit in your favor and try to finish the paper within the 3 hours time limit that is given. So I think that practicing the question papers, past question papers, as well as if you get any test series question papers more and more, would actually help you to boost your confidence and help you finish the paper in the 3 limits time which is given. Because I've heard that most of my colleagues who have given the paper along with me could not finish the paper in the 3 hours time. So I think that if you actually want to finish and score well in paper 2, which is a very extreme necessary step, then you need to practice and practice a lot. Also, it is said that many a times the paper is difficult, sometimes it's very easy. So you have to go to the paper with an open mind. Of course, you need to keep a framework as to how would you approach the paper in mind, but it should not be too rigid. It should be flexible depending upon the difficulty of the paper. Suppose the paper is very difficult, then you need to understand as to how many questions you're supposed to solve. Suppose it's too easy, then I think your risk-taking ability should increase. Risk-taking in this exam is an extremely important thing you must take, but of course you have to actually think about it as to what should be the extent of it depending upon the difficulty of the paper. It is also sometimes, I've personally experienced that the paper starts with difficult questions, and as you approach, I mean, you start losing confidence as to the first 10 to 15 questions that you solve are so difficult that later on you are not able to focus upon the paper, even though the questions are easy and and you can solve them so easily. But because of these 10 to 15 difficult questions, it actually affects your whole paper. So in that regard, I think that you need to focus, you need to stay cool, and you need to actually approach the entire 125 questions and the remaining 200 mark paper with with a cool mind, rather than thinking about that which you cannot solve affecting what you can solve.